want people to stay, no one will leave.
JT, you want to read the rules of 20?
Yes. Oh. Oh, because you're funny. You funny man, Jakewhyman. You tell jokes now.
What joke? Yes,
Really?
I'll put a video.
Every single time. That's me. That'll be in trouble. Don't do that.
Actually not a word.
That's pretty good. Hey, that's pretty good. That one got cut off. Oh, okay.
Water machine turned into it.
You need another picture I can send you.
No, I already tweeted the whole picture with you in it. Oh! What if?
I finally found the correct thing.
Yeah. Alright. Non-AV staff is doing the AV. Turn this out as we go. There we go. Oh yeah, where's Ray?
He's got a actual. He needs to help.
I see. Got a real world.
10 minutes.
10 minutes of this.
Yes.
Oh,
10 minutes of this.
12 minutes, technically. Airplane.
What's the deal with it?
Oh my god.
What's the deal with it?
Oh my god. How has everyone's con been so far, though? Yeah. Day one.
Still recovering from day 0.
Yeah, basically. Don't do 3 shots of Jack Daniels all in one night.
Don't give away your secret.
Why not? I'm trying to be helpful. Don't do
It's not don't do it. It's once you do it, don't stop so it doesn't catch up.
Yeah, no, just blitz yourself the whole weekend on nothing but liquor and see what happens. Thank you. Me last night. The anthology.
Yeah, how many people can count them this much?
You make that. So inebriated.
I definitely was. How come you
Don't ask what.
So I try to share vacation photos with these guys, and they immediately just meme the hell out of it.
Then why did you share them?
Because I thought they were nice photos.
Well, then that's why
I thought me making a dumb face was funny, and they're like, yes, we're going to make it even dumber.
We're going to make it even more.
I know. Is there anything else on this computer I can show them, Dan?
Don't look at the porn folder.
Oh.
No, that's a different.
Why'd you put the porn folder
That's
in
a
the
different
gun?
computer.
Oh.
And that's a joke.
No. No, this is worse. This is worse. What did I tell you about unhealthy, like social dynamics?
Well, I already said the background on my car is touchscreen to your face. What's your point?
That's what I mean. Why are you like this?
Because I did it for a Twitter photo.
You did it for the.
I did do it.
Did it for me.
Do it for the vine, Rip. Water's good. Anyone else want a water?
I got
I got them.
Alright. Caramel. Yes. The cream game.
Oh, hey, you
This is not part of the panel, we're showing you. We also need to know. Audio test time.
Okay, well, you wonder how to make the PMVs. I'll tell you how to make PMVs, the whole process, not go through to make them. And then you can make your own videos and get tons of views and the subscribers. So, here's how it's done. Okay, first thing you're gonna want to do is grab your cutting tool, your editing tool. This will be able to cut the clips up. So you're gonna go over here. You get a big slathering of the P, PMV, and then you're gonna slather it
Oh my god.
It's a
You
PMV.
wanna
What
get
do you
it
expect?
spread real nice. Like,
That's what a PC is like.
Yeah.
Some people are just in pain watching
You
this.
get there? Okay, good base for your PFV. You're gonna wanna add some good effects. So you're gonna wanna add a lot of
I get noticed by
effects,
EQD.
like
Yep.
Literally.
just spread them
Where's the
around.
Fisto
Oh,
out?
yeah, it's currently dead. Legitimately, you cannot go to it. So
And then you wanna add
What?
your character.
It's dead.
So, like,
it's literally dead right now. Yeah, but type it on your phone and find out for yourself. Go to Equestria Daily. It's an old website that's no longer exists.
Automatically make marking
So, like,
the site as spam. Wow. They mark EQD as spam.
So you got your whole range
Wow.
of effects and characters, and I mean, this is the start of like a really good POV. So then we'll move on to the next part.
I'm not
Most
joking.
important now.
Today.
Okay, guys, we're almost done. The
Who
most
reports on
important
EQD
effect
being
you can add
Get the reporting
is
website.
PVCF. So throw that in there and make sure it's spread evenly over the whole POV. Okay, then if you're feeling pretty jelly, you can add jelly to the mix too. I don't know
So, by
how
the way,
much
this video is
jelly
made by our good friend Henry.
you really want to add,
Vivids,
but
he's made
jelly.
a lot of videos, but this is
And
choice.
then, okay,
Yeah.
couple more things you gotta do before this PMV is finally done. You're gonna figure it out, so get your rendering material on there, spread it over the PMV, and you're pretty much done. Got this effect. Okay, so now we have finally rendered the project. So now what you're gonna do is you're gonna go to YouTube.
Remember 13 YouTube?
Upload.
Yeah, I love that UI.
There. It was better to upload.
Thumbs up every day.
Select a file.
Man, do you want to start a Google Plus Hangout?
Oh my god.
Let's do this
I
one.
mean, it's better than Skype calling me.
I don't know. This one here. Okay. So this is gonna be unlisted for now. What you're gonna want to do is go to monetization.
Monetize that?
Yeah, dude, you gotta monetize.
Like clicking, do you own My Little Pony and all the assets? Yeah, I totally own.
And then click got it. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So that's what you're gonna do.
He's trying to upload an API, which is like gonna take you 3 hours.
Okay, guys. So I made a pretty sweet PMV. Applejack special OC pumpkin pie. And anyways, I guess I could use more jelly. You know, use more jelly. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so guys, good PMV. 5-star rate, comment, subscribe.
5
Yeah, 5 stars.
friendly on
No thumbs up.
LinkedIn, and okay. Bye.
Yeah, leave a video. You know.
I love the leads. So.
Yeah.
So we got 5 more minutes. Oh, actually,
I've got a lot of leads.
what old stuff? What's about 4 minutes? The big RapidBeta show.
How your AJ?
The AJ videos. I mean,
2 years.
I mean this. That one thing said not safe for work.
I know.
It's not safe for work because they're swears. Hi, Nolan. Thanks for the picture.
Welcome.
Thanks.
Anytime.
Gotta get the social media.
Making you famous, you're welcome.
Yep. Hey, Rich Evans, I appreciate that. Thank you. Oh no. Oh, I know. Amazing.
Okay, so just real quick, how many people know the story behind this series?
The Blow series.
Adam, I haven't said hi to you
The
yet.
boy.
Hi.
So back.
To finish up this thought, the Blow/Dark Hoof Studios joke started because of the now defunct EquestriaDaily.com. Well, you all saw it.
Recently, you did it.
So basically, they would only post PMVs that were like flashy, like interesting, like none of the simple cuts, none of the stuff people put a lot of work into, just like very flashy like stuff.
Mike, it's for you. I have some.
Basically, the series was started at, well, you guys like a lot of effects and transitions. Here it is. Just literally every effect possible, every ridiculous thing that you can imagine to do in After Effects, all in one PNV. Because why not? And then they actually posted it.
We'll hang out a bit. Oh yeah, because
Yeah, this is the new one.
because we want your eyes to melt. We don't care about your sanity. You just did nothing but. Don't worry about it. It's a sharks. You put a lot of work into the mask. That's the thing. Is that when you put a lot of effort into something, and people wonder why did you put this much effort into this?
We don't know.
That's the point.
Yeah, exactly.
And I've lost
Lost control. I like
Yep.
it.
Suddenly anime.
Oh, this segment.
Soul is a mad man.
He's crazy.
Legit.
Look at this. It's like he literally submitted this. And we're like, okay, perfect. Stop what we saw.
I don't know what to put here. Here's the Dex just doesn't care. That's the best part.
We didn't specify what generation.
Gentleman.
But first, let me take a selfie.
Oh no. Wait, why are they clapping for that? What? Standards are low. We're at 3. All right, we good to go? We get to start. Hi, welcome. Hi guys.
Does anyone not know where they are? It's me.
A little inebriated from last night.
Don't answer that question.
Yeah. Don't be honest. Well, this is the video editing with the Dinguses, and basically we've done this before, but this is where a couple of us we're mostly from the anthology crew here, and we should probably introduce ourselves, but we're just going to be showing a couple of videos we've made and just kind of talking about them. So I'll just start. I'm JHaller. I'm a longtime editor of the fandom, been in since like 2011. OG. I'm too old.
Yes, you're all
I'm
cheering
too-
about how old he is.
I'm too old for the fandom, basically, at this point, but here I am. So, but yeah, I've worked on anthology back in the day. And yeah, I just made a bunch of meme jokes on YouTube for fun. And then you can invite us to panels to do stuff like this. I don't know why. But yeah.
JD, hello. I'm a RapidBeta. I make stuff on the internet, I guess. That is very much what we do.
That's pretty much everyone's intro, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm Din. I make stuff. I've made stuff for Anthology, and I don't make stuff often. I need to fix that. I think.
I don't make stuff often either.
Well, dude, you buy lip sync it.
Yeah,
And
I
they get
spend money.
retweeted by the.
Master Shake himself shouted us out. It's awesome.
Oh, you're looking for that
We
one.
gotta, yeah, we'll start it off with that video. You can explain.
Okay, sure.
You can actually explain. This is actually a good example. We find this, and you.
Everyone go on Twitter.
It's just us. You missed the Dimidaki. How could you pass it off? Here it is.
That's out of
Pony lovers, breaking news. Ponyville Cider Fest is proud to announce Jakewhyman will once again be going. Here and tell you why the pigeons eat out of your hands. You'll have to go to the anthology panel. You enter a contest and you lost. That's probably where you'll find yourself. But you might as well bring a friend. You may learn something new about yourself. Anyway, suckers, have a good time at the fest. Don't have too much in the cider tap room or whatever it's called.
It's kind of an ongoing joke for me. Like, Cameo, find somebody. Then I
Yeah.
think in 2019 I got Annoying Orange.
Yeah.
It was fun.
So basically, with that video, you got the audio from Cameo. You took the original up. You edited Premiere. Yeah. And
It is like 12 years old on YouTube, so it's 240p
quality.
quality. I did an AI upscaler to go 720.
Did you?
Yes.
That did pretty good.
Twitter didn't. On YouTube.
Even for Twitter quality, it still looked okay.
Yeah.
Almost like okay. That's
Yeah, Twitter's
decent.
not a great website to host videos.
Yeah.
Should have clicked the YouTube one. But that's the kind of stuff we make, is we like something, and then we see horses, and we're like, what if?
We should do that, but we're gonna do it anyways.
Those are the best ones.
I know. So I don't know. We can start with whatever. We got like all the folders here. I don't really care who starts. We start with Jake, but do you want to just go online and start? Do you, me, Dan, Jake, you're Dan.
Yeah, evidently.
Yeah. So yeah.
So yeah, basically the format of this panel is we're going to go through a couple of the videos we've made in the past that we think are notable for one reason or another, whether or not the jokes are that bad we still made it, or if there's some interesting editing quirk we want to talk about, like Jake was talking about with his way with lip syncing, which you do a very interesting job. Are you still scrubbing?
Yep.
Like back and forth, reverse strip? Okay. Oh,
I just find the frames and then organize a little bit.
yeah. Because you're a lot better at that than I am. But let's see.
Yeah. Which one of yours do you want to talk about?
This is a short that I made for 6, and the reason I wanted to bring it up was for a background scrubbing scheme. Not familiar. When we refer to what we're doing is we're taking frame of the show and we're going through in our editing tools and literally cutting out pieces and parts and then forwarding, rewinding, replacing, mapping, and making sure that it looks like it could have been originally done, but we have altered it.
Hey, Ray's here.
Everyone, welcome Ray. Hey.
He's on the panel, so that's right.
Yeah, another chair.
You have no chair. Do you have another chair we can throw up here?
Yeah, he was grading OrgoChem work because he's a nerd.
No one ever shows up to my office hours, and someone did.
Oh no, during con.
Yeah, go figure.
Can we grab a chair from the front row or something?
Yeah, make some room. But the reason I wanted to bring this up is because a lot of the background elements, right where like Spike is going and dragging that paper trail, this was like one of the first shorts that I submitted to Anthology.
Yeah, take it.
And it was just, it was a lot, it was my first attempt at like really trying to make sure everything looked like clean and crisp. So
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons I
Sure is.
Yeah, because I mean, basically when it comes to that, like it was all the masking for the background elements with Spike and Sunset.
Starlight.
Yeah, those things.
She's so we cannot help but just.
They're horses.
Sorry, Ray.
We just gave her specific. Yeah, Ricky over there is crying over there.
Yeah. So like it's just the little things, like making sure the fire shows up and it's through the teeth, and like the fact that you have to rewind and go back to make it like look, and then go back to Spike and make sure it fits, and you didn't mess up the audio too much.
Yeah.
Adding time, moving time, separate things, and making it flow nicely, because the show's animated on 2s. There are certain instances of it being animated on 1s, and what we mean by that is when they're creating the puppets and drawing the frames, this is a 23-point-something frame show.
23.976.
Maybe it causes issues. So essentially 24, so every other frame is an actual change of animation. You can only shout before it looks like the image hasn't moved, and it looks wrong. And that's really the like playing area you have to do when you're making a video, is like when you're editing content like this, you don't want it to seem like choppy, stuck. So you often can add another blinking cycle, like take a blinking cycle from earlier in the show, make sure it fits there, or rewind a clip a little bit so like it jiggles a little bit so the audience doesn't know you haven't edited it. It looks correct.
And it looks somewhat natural. You could fool anyone who wasn't really paying attention at the time of the show.
Right, because I mean that's the kind of level of work that we want to put into it, where it's like it looks correct, but it's also funny.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's kind of the hard part, is like just making it look right.
Yeah.
Because you might have a good idea, but executing it is another thing entirely.
For sure. Yeah, there's another lot of ideas that would just hit the cutting room floor, because it's beyond our ability level. We have to know knowing how to animate would be a better use for a certain idea.
Well, and that's actually one of the interesting things, is like people like Minty will often add animation to certain clips.
Yeah.
Like they will have a rig that looks close-ish to the show,
Mm-hmm.
so like in a couple frames or a couple spots in a cutaway, it'll look okay.
Yeah.
And you can add a couple frames and a couple lip syncing, because the other aspect of video editing a lot of these jokes is like we want to make the character say something. And so with horses being a 2D show, you can literally cut and paste mouth movements because it's puppets. So you can kind of like recreate the puppet mouths and like refit them and just make sure they fit the motion. And oftentimes, like for example, Minty, they will have other puppets that they can just animate on top of.
Yeah.
And oftentimes that is easier. But making it look correct, and because you don't have the original puppet that they're currently using, so it gets to be tricky. So
yeah, it's a big process. So
Yeah,
I think
which one
I'm going to show the Madion one because I'll show the Madion one because I did that recently on Twitter and it randomly blew up.
Yeah,
it got like 1,000 likes. I'm like, really?
it's an old video of
sure.
yours, but
It's from like Anthology 5, but let's play this first and I'll kind of explain.
Yeah, so
Short and sweet.
yeah, that's a Madion's Adventure album.
So the joke behind that, the reason I even did that, because if you notice, that song is called "Cut the Kid," and I noticed very early on that the sound of the voicing of that one part of the song sounded very similar to Applejack and Rainbow Dash. And I was like, I'm not going crazy. I actually kind of synced it up. I'm like, it unnaturally sounds like them. So I kind of got the idea to make this little part of the music video off of that. The fun part was going on Twitter and saying, he totally made them with samples from the show. I am the misinformation, I'm sorry, but some people believed it, unfortunately. No,
anyone actually knows Madion?
Yeah, we're trying to still figure it out. Maybe he did. We actually don't know if legit if he did or not. I'm guessing no, but I mean, it sounded close enough. But making that, like you were talking about masking, like you notice the sections, there's where Applejack shows up 4 times, faded on, or even that section with Rainbow Dash, to kind of match the echo of the song. That's what we started with masking. It's
those are 3 separate effects.
I had to
in the
mask
show.
out the animation of Rainbow Dash talking just by herself, so I could just put her side by side, lower the opacity or the transparency down so you can see all of them. So stuff like that, like more I'd say obvious example, but just match along to those part that I'm doing with like all the images of breaking up into like dust or sand, and it's just basically creating a particle system in After Effects and then just like transitioning them to like to make them look more natural and smooth. So stuff like it looked cool. I thought it looked cool. It's enough for me, basically, you know.
Right, and you're talking about music syncing and
Yeah,
editing.
part like the having the little
On beat.
having the little bounce effect on every one of these characters. And I will say, I made this 15. I totally predicted there that early on, I guess. You know, and then I don't. Yeah. So and stuff like that. So it was just like, masking, using particle systems, syncing to the beat, just like combining a bunch of stuff to match what I felt the music video I was working with at the time.
Yeah, and if you're interested in more of the on beat and on sync with music and visuals, if you haven't seen a lot of the films by Edgar Wright, those are wonderful. Baby Driver, phenomenal.
Big time.
Yeah, because that film was written around the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Like it was very well edited and everything was timed.
I think it's very obvious in that movie. You'll notice that all the motions of everything that's happening is in soundtrack playing at the
down
time.
to windshield wipers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like
Crazy.
that was like, as editors, we were all like, oh,
That film, we're biased. So JT, which one of yours would you like to talk about?
Let's start with. They're all interchangeable. Rainbow Stone. Why not?
It's a classic.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So that was. I like to do both.
Yeah, that's the little thing you make different. Having little motions like that, like the head bob or like blinking or any other small nudges, it comes back to basic animation. It makes it look alive, and that means a whole lot when you're watching a program like that.
Yeah.
And
easy
go to
frame.
use it too.
Right. Yeah. No, it really does. Like
Just ease.
because that's one of the things about like Ray was mentioning is when you're in digital form like this, you can say, okay, I want to move this asset from this canvas, part of the canvas to this part of the canvas, from this point in time to this point in time, right? So you can literally just have it do this, but you can actually like Bezier curve that animation, and Adobe calls this ease in, ease out. Instead of starting in this position, the speed at which it will go. So it'll start slow, like it has momentum.
As it is the motion, essentially.
Exactly,
Yes.
and I think it'll slow down rather than just stopping.
Yeah,
And it's small things like that.
Yep.
Right,
And you can change how aggressive that is.
exactly. You can change the curve.
Yeah, do that in After Effects versus Premiere. I actually use After Effects more than I normally would. Just you
Right.
can do it in Premiere, but it's
Mhm.
and I don't know why they
Yeah.
make it more cumbersome.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
You know,
Adobe.
I would use After Effects less.
Adobe. But,
Actually, you're probably
yeah. But regardless, that goes back to again tennis of animation. It's like that's more of a natural thing. It's like things have inertia, things have momentum, so they don't
Yeah.
just start moving and stop moving. So it makes it more real, even though it's obviously a cartoon. It's not real,
Yeah.
but it feels like it correct.
Right.
It feels real.
All right.
It feels like I'm actually.
Ray is. Which one, Ray?
Oh gosh.
Can you see all of them? You remember what you gave us?
Yeah, decisions. Well, let's see. We already kind of. You know what? As long as we're on After Effects, let's go with Proper Way to End Pony Life.
Advertisers!
Oh, Oh my god.
Yeah. So
Take that off the screen.
that one. In case anyone doesn't know what I'm referring to, there's some old like B movie that I think was from like Red Letter Media covered at some point, something like that, where it just ends with that, but just change the names a little bit and change the, you know, sort of thing. So I just spent a lot of time just trying to replicate that to a T as much as I could. I use a lot of like freeware or just free websites to look at fonts to make sure I match it correctly. Even the one that I used, I don't think it worked. I had to actually smush it a little bit, press it down a little bit. I felt the decision to add the TM was a good idea. Just to
Matching
and then,
text is very difficult.
Yeah.
There are lots of nuances with fonts that you can use some close, but especially when you're trying to replace text in a scene. Like if you want to change the visual appearance of a sign or anything else, like you want to make sure it's in style and it works. And using a font close is great, but if there are other assets on the screen that use the same but different font, it'll look off.
Exactly. So I felt the need to match up pretty well. Whenever I do something like this, I always have the original source under a new layer, and I always tweak the opacity a bit, try to line everything up to make sure it fits well. And I think, you know, making something look old and crappy is one of the best things that you can accomplish if you can replicate that well. And I added a little bit of shake to the text to kind of replicate a shakiness of a TV. I used motion tile, which is an effect that allows you to repeat frames along the edge of said frame. So I used that and then nudged it up just a little bit to add a little bit of a broken frame at the very bottom. So I used that. I used impressions that I could find in After Effects. I think I rendered it at 480p. I also resized and then I shrunk and then enlarged again. I pre-composed a bunch.
This is like way too much effort for what we more of this.
Yeah. Right? In After Effects, post something as its own thing, enlarge it there. So if you compress it, pre-compose it, and then enlarge it again, it won't stay the same resolution. It'll basically reduce the resolution. I use posture that reduces the number you can use, and often does. I really feel like that really carries a lot of those.
I mean, like
effects.
you can see it like in this what was a gradient.
Yeah, exactly. So the gradients become more apparent.
Again, that's a lot of work for something you don't even notice. But that's the magic. Is like if he didn't do some of those things, then it wouldn't like work. Depending on the joke or depending on the the destination of whatever your mind was thinking at the time.
Right. And that's what I love about memes like this, and especially working with pony stuff, is it really allows you to play around with these tools very well in a great environment where short 10-second things like this are appreciated. And that's why I love doing that sort of thing. So I would like to do it. But we'll see what pops up.
So, Mr. Wyman, what would you like to show?
We covered a lot of about masking and stuff. Let's stick with some live action stuff because there can be jokes with that. So let's start with Steve Harvey.
So where is AC?
Where's Race right now?
He's seen this.
No, I know,
but
is he close?
He'll hear it.
So for those of you who are unaware, is there anyone that is unaware of this clip?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so pretty much AC Race Fest got on Harvey, and they asked him questions, and it was a little weird, but that's okay. We made videos out of it.
Clinical psychologist Dr. John Duffy, and together with him, things that they do are weird. Let's find out what's happening with Jeff. Jeff, what's going on?
back in my girlfriend, that I watch a show of the new generation of My Little Pony.
Yeah, that's me. I ended up in this situation.
And I was resistant, not gonna touch it. Not gonna touch it. She made a deal with me. She said, you watch one episode and I'll never bring it up again. And so I ended up finding the show interesting. And the characters that were on the show surprised me. I ended up really liking it. Watched the entire first season in 3 days. And yeah, it's been quite a ride. I mean, at this point, I'm a full-blown brony. Brony. Bro and pony and combined it to brony. Yeah. So a bunch of YouTube videos. And I competed in demolition derbies. And what I have my girlfriend do is pick up the cars as the characters. So I'll pull out into this demolition derby arena where all these guys have these mean-looking machines, and I'll pull out in a pink machine with cute balloons and butterflies on it, and I say, "Bring it on, guys!" And I actually ended up winning a demolition derby in that pink machine right there, and all the competitors were pissed.
Okay. Oddly enough, Jeff, the good news for you is you are not the first brony. That has empowered women in it. I think that's very progressive of you. And so it's not bad news. One that you're engaged only in this kind of thing, it can become a little regressive and unhealthy. So be careful of that. I fear that you might be stepping into that territory just a little bit here.
And that's because of the demolition derby cars being painted up as ponies?
And everything else you said.
Now, we have no room to really judge.
He did his best.
Oh my goodness. No, that is just straight up a classic. That's just hilarious.
It's just all about timing and finding the right clips, what to put. It's just trying to convey, making it funny, over accentuate anything, any moment, movement. Just
Accentuating the awkward little details.
Yeah. You're
and making awkward pauses on purpose.
Smiles, the licking the lips. Just highlighting
your use of zoom in. The zoom in is done at the exact right time.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
Timing makes a huge difference in comedy. It really does.
Yep.
So
why was he licking his lips like that?
it's Steve Harvey.
I don't know.
I don't know why he does it either.
He's got that trick though. He's Twitter.
He really does.
The blue jumpsuit.
Oh my goodness. So one of the things I wanted to highlight was, like again, when it comes to horses and MLP and the fandom and everything, you get to meet so many people. I ended up shooting at BronyCon one year a parody of BoJack Horseman's intro using a horse mask. And one of the reasons that I really wanted to highlight that is because that's something I never would have done, straight up. But I did, and I had friends to help me do it, like Horseman together, so we just had a ton of fun hanging out at BronyCon and like running around in a horse mask because that's funny. So I think this was like 2016, I think? I can't remember, but I had a lot of fun just planning the shoots, getting people together, the extras, just having fun directing it and then going home and editing it. And it was just like something, again, through meeting people through this fandom and through having resources to ask for help, how to do things, better ways to do things. It was just a lot of fun. lot of fun just planning everything and coming down to like matching the fonts, editing the logo, because like for example, there wasn't an S in the original logo, so like I had to fake the font to look correct in the logo. So you gotta fudge some things. But yeah, no, I mean, planning all the shoots, making sure that someone was in the pool to catch him when he fell in. I mean, you know, that kind of thing. Just small stuff.
You can see him like taking the mask off.
Yeah.
Immediately taking the mask off when he's in the water.
That's one of those things about having just a weekend to shoot something. Like, you pretty much have like 1 or 2 takes.
I was, you panic when you probably
That's
you don't want to like sing the
That's
yeah.
on water.
Yeah, because I mean, that was the other thing. Is like, we had 1 shot on that water take because then his clothes would be wet. So it's like, yeah, we didn't want to chance it. So
Comedy takes guts.
So it's
So, Mr. Haller, what would you like to show? Something crazy?
I mean, I'm saving the best for last. You know that.
Fair enough.
We did the lip. No, that's nothing but lip sync. I don't know. I can do the try hard one or the funny one. I heard someone knows what the funny one is. Yeah,
She's dead.
It's bad that I kind of like this on par with your original.
I think it's better.
I didn't want to say it, but I think you're right. I'm supposed to be with your name.
The Vegas TV effect. That's where I live.
That is Stranger Things.
Straight up to you.
Alright.
Explain yourself.
Yeah, I know. Because that was the worst video probably a lot of you have ever seen. So back for JHaller, I want to say 2013, long time ago. We were going to do a panel about just video making, and I wanted to make a video, kind of video you shouldn't make in our panel. But I was like, well, it'd be kind of rude to take someone else's video. There are probably examples I could have taken from other people who just made video. I would like to make it myself. Shouldn't do. So as you can see, it's adding in every pre-made. So there's a buddy, Little Shy. He runs an account called Green Screen Ponies, which is where he masks out all of these different, parts of the show.
Yeah, all the masking we were talking about. Basically, he would take commonly used segments and just publish them.
Right. So if you actually can go back into that one part with Pinkie Pie is the green screen, like in the middle, like that right there. It's around here somewhere. There it is.
Oh.
But that's
resampling has not been
right. Well, I know exactly. That was done on purpose. So, but he'll take these clips from the show, put them behind a green screen, then you just use the a keying effect to take out the green screen, and it looks like it's in the show or in the video. So yeah, basically the original version was using the original Attack on Titan song that got taken down due to copyright, so I had to find the kazoo version to make them. And you'll notice there was a bunch of guys, like real life guys, in the background of the video. There are points. That's the band that's playing the kazoo version of the Attack on Titan song. I just added them in. I also added in like Larson jumping in and just other clips because from the original I improved it. Quoting fingers. It's kind of convenient and it looks terrible. At the same time, while making this video, I had the most this video of any of the videos I've made.
Well, I mean, to be fair, that's kind of one of the reasons we were talking about for those of you who were here a little bit before the panel, where it's effects. I have because it's, hey, what's this effect do? I drag it on.
When you're making very high-end garbage, it's a lot of fun.
Well, you learn slider and be like, well, that ain't it.
But I don't know. I keep showing that video. People keep wanting to see it. I don't know why you want to see it.
I love the pony tracking on the word pony at the very intro.
That's
That's
like
stuck with me.
Pony Canyon. And
Because it's not even close.
I think Pony Canyon is a band or somebody, but they're involved in anime. I've seen their name in multiple anime credit sequences, so I don't know. Oh, that part too.
Yeah.
Oh, that part. Yeah. Well, I thought you were talking about Pony Canyon. Never mind.
It doesn't stop.
Like one of the things we talk about, if you've heard the term, is called motion track. I want you to look at this pixel, and we want you to track it. So basically, we say, hey, we want to see here, and we want program and like mask something on top of, let's say, a ball that's bouncing on the script, so we can make something funny happen. We will tell it to look at specific pixels of the ball and have the program do it. So what Jay did here was not do that.
Yes.
And
this is the laziest version of it, but you'll notice the word pony will kind of get smaller.
Remember what I said about easing?
Right.
But this is also it's required.
But this is also motion tracking with no effort put into it at all.
Right.
So,
because I mean, that's the thing is like with motion tracking, you can use multiple points. So like when it took the logo and zoomed it on the 2D canvas, you can give it 2 points to track as a part of your element. So then you have one for the position and one for the size. So Premiere and Adobe After Effects actually do a decent job about motion tracking as long as you coach it. Like you really kind of have to go frame by frame sometimes and really help it. Like no, it's not that pixel. Pick this pixel. But other than that, like you can get some really good response after something the show did with like a 2D zoom or a 2D pan, and you can do placing your on top of it.
Hanging that quick. That's a pain.
I like motion tracking. It takes a long
I like
time.
motion tracking. The regular motion tracking works pretty okay. But when you try to couple zoom with it, then it's too complicated. I just do that by hand.
Yeah. Next up.
Let's spend forever.
Mr. JT, what would you like to show?
It's me.
Yeah.
You can do chill shot.
I need some chill.
I like to do it to music. I kind of do it like as an art form. So it's just about putting the time and effort to learn what you're
Using that VHS font. Yeah. That VHS
all
font.
The, yeah, all the overlay.
Like I think it's just called OSD font or something. Stop, start, like mono space. So Ray, what would you?
Gone for that.
Talking about how I spend too much time on After Effects and eating such grass.
I knew you could do it.
Oh, of course. That's how it always has to go.
Right. So how much time did you spend on that mask?
So everyone asks that. I think a few hours a night for maybe 3 or 4 nights, which I've spent more time on other things. I'd say it's around the middle of how I spent on an After Effects thing. But I think the trick with it is that it takes a lot of patience to use RotoBrush and not pull your hair out. I probably did pull out a little bit of hair doing that because ideally, yeah. So in After Effects, if you ever use Photoshop, there's a magic wand tool or a quick selection tool that detects borders, sometimes better than others depending on the source. And there's an equivalent tool in After Effects that does it one frame at a time. Problem with After Effects, I think it's a little better now because they added a second thing that I haven't used a whole lot, so I can't quite vouch for it yet. But at least with the version I used, it is a pain and it does not work very well at all. So really you end up spending a comparable amount of time to how you would really do it by hand. It's not the same amount of time, but really with every single frame, you've got to touch it up, brush this thing out, brush that thing back in. I think his fingers were really hard to do, and if you looked where he puts his hand down, it really starts to fall apart, but it's only there for like half a second.
Right, and that's the balance where it's like, okay, do I spend 3 or 4 more hours to get this 10 frame segment looking a little better?
Right,
Will it
exactly.
really make a difference? Will it help? And sometimes yes, and sometimes no, and that's just the decision you have to make.
Exactly. And at that point, I also use a little bit of smoothing, because if you don't use smoothing, it'll be very clearly like a jagged, fuzzy edge around. So combined with the smoothing I was doing, it was just impossible to get the fingers very well at all. But it really just takes a lot of patience to use a tool like that is so fine and finicky to work with. So that was most of that. I tracked the backgrounds by hand. I think I just took a screenshot of one of the episodes and just like lined up one of the stars with like a point in the original clip and just did that whole thing by hand. Water. I think I just wrote layer. I think I wrote like Gaussian blurred it, and then I just manually masked out his to actually reflect an actual reflection, and then I tried to change the color balance a bit on the original video to make it look like it belonged more, but I used a copy from YouTube, and it was too compressed to really do it that well without really showing how compressed it was.
Yeah, was that movie out at the time you read it?
It was out,
Okay.
yeah. It was, like, I think within a month or two. It was pretty recent.
Well, yeah, because I mean, that's the other thing when it comes to editing clips. Well, you have to get the clips. So when it comes that are new or relevant in a way that you can actually put in an editor, it gets to be tricky. Like the segment with the Joker earlier, that was like a week after the movie came out in theaters, and all I had to go off of was the trailer. So like I really wanted more frames, or I wanted to do some stuff, but I was available.
Sometimes you have a contact, for times you can find a clip on YouTube, and it really depends. And in this case, I just found a clip on YouTube, and I honestly reconsidered doing the whole thing from the ground up because I found a better copy somewhere else.
That's that sucks.
But I didn't. At the end of the day, I just left it be, and I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
The color just sucks.
It's fine. So, Mr. Wyman.
More, let's do Pinky's Kidman.
Just leave this to me. Hello, Charlie Kelly here. Local business owner and cat enthusiast. Is your cat making too much noise all the time? Is your cat constantly stomping around, driving you crazy? Is your cat clawing at your furniture? Think there's no answer? You're so stupid. There is. Kitten mittens. Finally, there's an elegant, comfortable mitten for cats. I couldn't hear anything. Is your cat one-legged? Is your cat fat, skinny, or an in-between? That doesn't matter, because one size fits all. Kitten mittens. You'll be come on down to Patty's Pub. We're the home of the original kitten mittens. Meow. Just leave this to me.
So the source clip for that.
The audio?
Yeah.
Yeah, Always Sunny in Philadelphia, classic thing. Yeah, it was pretty early on. I basically would slow down footage, speed it up. You probably see that, but it worked.
Lip sync.
Yeah, lip sync.
Lots
of moving things in the background too. It's great.
Yes, that's the fun about lip syncing is where it's like if you want to take a specific mouth movement And with the horse show, you pretty much have like a lot of wide open mouths or closed mouths or like small tongue movements, like the. The problem with that is their mouths are different sizes for each frame and each vowel. So the problem ends up being is they will open their mouth, show something in the background like a tree, and then close their mouth, and you have to recreate sometimes in the background. You have to recreate the background asset if you want to put a different mouth in there. It's very fun. Very fun.
Yeah.
We love our lip sync around here.
I'm not good at it. So, okay. Memes. So I like cutaway clips a lot because you basically have a joke where you set things up, and you think everything's normal, and you just basically bait and switch it. So, yeah.
Concentrate on teleporting. Got it. Doing the spell. No tricks, wait, not just.
I think it's hard. And Applejack in the background for those who remember that TV. Stop it. Same one. But yeah, so for this one, the reason I liked it was one, it's just a simple bait and switch. Like, it's really like not a lot of editing, but it's the timing that makes a difference. And the other thing was like, cool, I maxed out the table, but it's adding the small things like the gradient, the lighting, the shadow on it, so it like popped out a little bit more and looked like it was floating. Just small things you can do to a scene that like makes it more alive. Yeah. So
cool.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, I was gonna tell like that was what year that came out, because like that was a meme for
that was relevant
in 2018 or 17, I want to say.
Yeah, it was 17.
Yeah.
That's a frame.
Which high effort thing should I go?
Oh, you want to go high effort?
I might go for a high effort one. I have two high effort ones. Yeah. I have the Blimsgate or the Canterlot City theme. I don't know which one to go for. I don't know, you choose. Which one of those two?
Interspersed with memories so clear, but we disobeyed and disappear. We were so far away and yet so near, protecting all the things that you hold dear. You knew we'll watch the watchmen now, and you will blend into the crowd, and you will hear them screaming out and use the face behind the cow. Yeah, something I find out. Yeah, I'm a soldier of fortune, fortune not enough to match my own tune. Target sighted, yeah, I'm required, yeah, I can't stop it, yeah, I'm just fighting. Yeah, let me survive. Oh, yeah, till you find me out. We're superheroes. We're superheroes.
Yeah, like the fact you masked the leave transition.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Because it
Why
was
you hate yourself?
Because I hate myself. Good transition. I gave all those assets away for free. They're somewhere on my channel.
That's dedication.
Like
RapidBrush doesn't work in a movie either.
that was mostly pen tool mask. That wasn't a lot of that wasn't RapidBrush, and the difference is like you can just it's a lot crisper, but it takes a lot more time to
Right.
do.
So to clarify what we're talking about, when we're masking things out, you only have so many tools. One of them is just straight up like vectoring it. You place on each little thing you want to cut out, and you can do a small amount of like curving, some Bezier curving.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have this basically points that you'd be like, all right, cool, that's what I'm like lifting out of the scene, that's what I'm cutting out. The other thing we were mentioning is called RotoBrush. It's an Adobe product and feature where essentially you kind of brush where you want it to cut, and it'll look at the image and analyze where it thinks an edge is. So like if you have an actor against the background, it will look at like edges of clothing and look at the pixels, be like, okay, there's a big enough transition in color here. I think this is an edge, and you can kind of adjust it, say, yeah, I agree, or no, it's actually here.
So like Ray's video with Thanos, that was RotoBrush.
And it was more smoother. It was more like, because you had like when you're looking at it pixel by pixel, it's more of a like transition between someone in the background. With an animated show like this, since it is done in vectors, like it is a vectorized show, you have a very clean line against some other color background.
Yeah, no, it's just Rotobrush is slightly quicker, but it's a little messier, basically. And again, in the Thanos clip, it's like you can kind of see the light leaks along the edge of Thanos, and you're like, okay, you can kind of tell he's not a natural element in the scene, but it's good. It's really good enough, for what your purposes is. But for that, I just straight pen tooled it, so I can control the entire mask. But just syncing up all the masking with the beat of the song. Basically, this was like me trying to tell the story of the Candlelight Wedding. You can feel a lot of that footage, and I just listened to the song by Ken Ashcorp, and I just kind of like felt like I could find a lot of scenes from that particular the weddings to fit kind of with the lyrics, and so yeah, I was just like, I don't know, I want to do a high effort thing and just spend half a year of that took half a year because I was late. I could have done it sooner, but I was lazy. But it just took a lot of time to make it. Just, I don't know, just trying to sync everything up, especially trying to sync it all up in After Effects is hard mode. It's like making it harder on yourself than you need it to be. But
at this point, you're using Vegas and After Effects.
a little bit in conjunction, but almost all of that was made in After Effects. Okay. Almost like all the post stuff was put into Vegas, but all the effects are rendered and then you put it into the timeline. Right. There you go. But
I mean, the thing about Adobe products that is really nice is they actually do play together because you're paying a ton of money. So
Vegas is not. I use Vegas. Actually.
That's my point.
Yeah. Product, yeah, you're right. They still. Right. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, because in Premiere, what you can do is you can do your basic editing, you can do your basic cuts, and you can right-click and replace it with an After Effects asset. And what that will do is it'll open After Effects. You can edit your really complex or creative effect, and you can go through all the detail, and you can hit save. And what's nice about that is you didn't actually render out that clip. It's still in its raw form. It's still in the Adobe format. It's not a video. It's just a project file. So when you finish your entire video in Premiere, you can go ahead and render out the entire video. And what it'll do is it'll call upon After Effects to do that small render and then basically continue rendering the rest. So when Jay, for example, is using Vegas, he's actually taking all of the assets he wants to do, finishing them in After Effects, rendering them out. So he's actually creating the video file and then re-importing it back into Vegas and then cutting it there.
So it's really a bad, inefficient system, but it's how I do it. So
yeah, that's
whatever.
with a lot of creative elements. You kind of run into that where it's I know this is not the way to do it, but I know how to do it like this.
It's what works for me. So yeah.
And see, that's what's interesting about art. In general, it's it's not like I come from an engineering background, right? It's there's pretty much a couple ways to do it, and there's a best way. One that is either cost efficient, or it's the quickest, or it is the fastest at doing whatever it does. But when it comes to creative work, if it looks good,
it doesn't matter.
Right. Especially for this, we have the luxury of no one's sitting here paying us to make some movie something.
Yeah.
We're just making it for fun. So as long as it comes out good, that's what matters.
Exactly.
Sure, you still haven't heard of NFTs? We gotta jump on that.
Who wants to buy the
NFT panel?
Who wants to buy the NFT for Anthology?
Yeah, this
going first bid.
Yeah, Thanos wanted to be public domain for much
$1 million.
Yeah, who wants to buy the NFT for the new Anthology content?
Oops. Who wants to own Alex and Thanos? I'm taking bids.
It's not.
It doesn't exist. Well, you have only one choice really left.
Yeah.
They start bidding at $40.
Minimum bid's $1 million. Thanks.
Save the cherry
Thank you, DeviantArt Vector Club.
So I made that Sony Vegas, but frame by frame.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God.
Adam knows.
Every little frame. It was.
Yeah, why not?
Adobe is definitely better for framework. Tweening, yes.
Keyframes are your friend.
Easy in, easy out.
Ease in, ease out. Yep.
All right, what do you want to show off?
Edgy one or new one?
Oh.
There's only two left.
No, you can't show the one. You have to show the edgy one.
I have to show the edgy one? Alright, we'll do tennis ball.
You know why. You can't.
Tennis ball thrown against the wall. Tennis ball thrown against the wall. Tennis ball thrown against the wall. Helps me forget about my cancer.
So yeah, that's the least Oz I've heard in any exhibition.
We're desensitized to
it.
it.
I think this is the best one so far.
Yeah. No, so that's a comedy clip.
It's from like a random YouTube video from like 2010.
Right. Okay, I didn't
It was
know.
it's a fake Walmart ad for tennis
It was from John LaJoy or whatever.
Yeah.
He was a Canadian comedian, I think.
Yeah, it was, so at the original clip, it didn't have a lot I could really directly translate with. I just felt that the audio had a lot of potential, because in the original clip, he's just bouncing a tennis ball against, let's go. You spoiled it! Against the wall for quite a few cuts. It's nothing like super ominously, font comes up and says answer.
But
That's
like,
the punchline.
The audio boosts once he starts talking about it.
But like,
That is a nice emphasis. But so I had impulse to try to create something frame for frame almost, but with I could have, but it wouldn't have really been that entertaining. So I had to take some theory. In fact, I wish I'd done it at the end. I turned down the saturation, but it's not enough that I think really notice, and I think I should have just balance, a material is how strictly do you adhere to it. Sometimes it works really well with like the Pony Life one, where you can get a lot out of it just by doing it, entirely recreating it just in a different context. But with this, I thought it benefited to just recreate it in a different way, and with the same sort of spirit. I still did several cuts. I warped the frame a bit. They didn't do that in the original, but I warped the frame, stretched it a little bit, rotated it, and then I duplicated the bouncing ball 6 times at the very end there, just to try to recreate that same sort of atmosphere while doing something different. And I'm pretty happy with how that turned out.
And there's
I don't know
there's this footage from the show that is tennis ball sick character.
Yes. And I was
it's almost like
how did it well? Like,
it
no
fits
way.
way too well.
Like, it's perfect.
And I know that the audio for this was made in early 2000s. It was years between this. I'm like, how did we accidentally find this?
It's older for sure. And just
sometimes you get lucky.
MLP Wiki is your friend for
Yeah,
finding contextual clips to use in your stuff. That actually comes up in a later.
I've straight up used the transcripts from MLP Wiki where it's just the episode script. And I'm like, okay, I need a sample of Rainbow Dash saying this word or that word. Or, hey, when did they go to this place? And just straight up searching the transcript, be like, oh, season 6, episode 7.
Exactly. It's such a good tool for that sort of thing.
I think we got time for one more video maybe, but yeah.
Use it.
It's your video, right? Or it's Jake's, sorry.
Yeah.
My bad.
So,
Jake.
My whole class.
Yeah.
No rapping, no cards, no costumes, no blade, and no animals.
It's really long. It keeps going. Slowly zooming. Get there. Gotta get there. There.
Totally by accident.
Was that the first try by accident when you got it into the can?
No, it would. At one point, it jumped and went on top of the toaster, rolled, and then got inside. I was like, the reason why I kept that one because it actually broke in half. Only half the apple actually made it.
Oh, it kind of goes quick. But yeah, basically
totally.
that's how we do our the secrets. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, we like making
We
videos.
like doing fun things.
No fun allowed.
All right.
No fun.
you're purely
I can
business-minded.
show the Sweetie Belle one. How about that?
From
It's me. Oh, from you? Oh, no. Oh, it's your turn.
No.
All right, just go to the Sweetie Belle one because it's
When Joseph Gordon-Levitt shows up, I'm sorry, spoilers. When he shows up and he's like,
One day you showed up in my orphanage and I knew you were Batman. But the moment you walked in, you were Batman. And he's like, yeah, Batman. It's like, wait, what? Why did you just confirm it? He's like, clearly he knows. There's no way I can deny it. But he could have been like, no, that's really what? Real Batman would have been like, no. Stupid. You don't know anything about Batman. You know what I know about Batman? Not me. Stupid. Look, Batman's on TV. I'm not on TV. Do you see a cape? Do you see me crusading? Do you see a secret lair? I don't. I have my diary right here. Doesn't mention Batman. It mentions a boy I have a crush on in chemistry. Chapter 1. I don't like being the CEO of a company. It's hard. Timmy's cute. Chapter 2. Being Batman. Mom! I told you to take out the chapter about being the Batman. Sorry, dear. It's not okay.
No. I mean, if you want to keep
You know
going.
what I don't understand? What's that, Jimmy? Why are Game Grumps so stupid at everything? Mostly life. I don't know. Maybe because they're...
How's this dumping at the end? Yeah. Or pretty much every. I don't know. Just lip sync, just for fun. Just fun lip sync. Jake and me have made like the Game Grumps like universe of Pony. I guess in a weird way. So he's the owner of it. I just kind of borrow from it. But yeah, just lip sync stuff for fun, basically. I think we're pretty much. How are we timed? I believe so. 1 minute. We got. Well, I think we gotta just promote future panels and stuff. So yeah. First of all, thank you all for coming. By the way. So tonight, Argo. What time is the bad fan fiction right now?
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock or
What
something.
These ones.
Go to one of these ones.
So at 10 o'clock, I'm going to be on the bad fan fiction panel with Argo and crew. And that'll be a fun time. And then tomorrow. Hey, guys. 9:30?
9:30.
Okay, cool. So 9:30, we'll figure out which room. And then tomorrow we're going to be hosting the, I can't believe it's not Ponies the Anthology 8 panel in the other room at 11:30. And the first 100 people, I don't have my backpack, first 100 people who show up are going to get a button. So if you show up early, I don't even know if the room can hold 100 people though. That's the only
We're about to find out.
We'll find out.
Can't hold 100. But if you guys like these videos, definitely.
Yeah, if you like these videos, I'll just tell you right now, we're gonna be showing a lot of the older stuff, but there's gonna be some new content at that panel as well. So just a heads up.
It's not Anthology.
No, it's not. That's
not.
why we titled it that way, because it's not.
It's seriously not. No, we're not windowsing this.
All right. So, but again, thank you guys again, and have a great con. Cool.
So do you want to copy?
Go home! Hi. Hey, what's up? Yeah, no,
I don't hear it.
I'm actually not as familiar with that side of it, but there are definitely people. Actually, a person to talk about that would be Adam. Oh, that's Adam right there. He makes a bunch of 3D stuff and he mashes it up with Firebase. So, yeah, but there's definitely people out there that like mash it with all the popular game franchises. Yeah.
I'm an engineer, so I like to hear the process. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm a computer engineer. I make PCBs, electronics, firmware, software. I make a lot of units for applications. So,
The one thing I forgot
for me, it's like the reason I gotta do it is one, I like
4 hours of sleep after driving the car to
process. Those where it's like, how does that
currently it's at 5.
how would I do it?
How did they do? And I was like, well, I have no backup. I said, "Man, it's a gift of you." I take it for oh, yeah, I'm right by the elevator, so yeah. I've got like 8 bottles of that.
I thought I was warm wearing this blanket.
I like this shit.
I just saw this guy like last week or 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. I see you are. I bought myself. Huh? I bought myself. That was like the. I bought myself. You bought yourself. I love the detail of this. Oh yeah. I also got her. I also got the Flies My Dragon pillow. Oh, the little.